After years of discussion, deliberation, constitutional changes, amendments, political consensus, GST was becoming a reality. Now, let us say in this module the final phase of GST journey, that is from 2016 to 1st July 2017, the last phase of GST journey. So, 2016, we know that the 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016 was passed. It gave powers to central government and state governments to levy GST. This was important because constitutional changes were needed to collect levy at the center and state level. Then followed by this GST Council. GST Council will decide on that is the highest decision making body for GST, and they will decide on the tax rate, exemption, threshold limits, all other important matters. Now 2017, you have to remember two important laws were passed related to GST. One is Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017 and Integrated Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. The respective state governments passed their GST acts also. So the legal structure also has come. So the government, at the same time, central government has provided the technical details or technical infrastructure for GST registration, compliance, GST number, all this. They have provided the technical support also. So the GST Council met and they started deciding how the GST, that framework for that they have developed. The GST laws gave the legal structure, and the technical developments also happened in the technical developments also. So with all this support, GST was about to implement. It was ready for launch. Now, you know that this GST was launched at midnight. Why that midnight session was important? We have in our history two historic events happened at the midnight. So GST was also launched June 30th. They called the midnight session, and it continued up to early hours of July 1st. That is why we are telling that July 1st, 2017, GST was launched in our country. So first was the midnight session was the independence. August 14th, midnight they started, and the independence, 1947 independence, that is midnight session. Next historic event is the Republic India, that is January 26, 1950. So two historical things happened at the midnight session of the parliament. So our NDA leaders have decided that this complete transformation of indirect tax structure in our country, that also will happen as a midnight session. So that is the importance given to that. So this GST has abandoned most of the indirect taxes in our country, which are charged by the central government, excise duty, service tax, VAT by state government, and different other taxes. So the GST has integrated the indirect tax structure in our country. It created a better market in our country for doing the business, comprehensive system. Then one nation, one market, one tax. So that was possible for GST, the indirect tax structure. So this, when you look at this, you can see that consensus was needed, debate was needed, political consensus, cooperation between center and states, the legal framework, technological developments, GST laws and rules. So much work happened, and the last phase of GST journey, that is from 2016 to 1st July 2017, is remarkable, and finally on July 1st, 2017, the GST is launched in our country.